we have our first fire. Thank you for watching this video. We really appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe and like button. What does the bear say? The bear says 58 degrees. This is actually a piece of the flashing, so we pushed that all the way up to the very peak of the ridge cap. So we've got the ridge cap overlaps to about here. Well, today's another monumental day on the homestead. You can see behind me, we got the stovepipe put in last night. We had a couple of our Amish neighbors come over who know everything there is to know about stovepipe. So this is a 7-inch ID triple wall pipe, which makes the OD on this 11 inches. It's got another, I don't know if we can see up in there or not, but there's another wall in there, making it a triple wall. It came in 3 sections, so we had to kind of assemble 2 and then kind of wiggle that up there to the other one and then assemble that one up in the attic. So this is a DS Stoves 3200 wood boiler, and I'm going to show you how I am choosing to install it. There are a bunch of different ways that you could go about installing this. You could probably make it about as complicated as you want it to be. This is going to be a very, very simple install. We've got about 2 to 3 months left of winter here in northern Wisconsin, and it's just going to be to get us through that. We also don't have 120 volt power out here all the time, unless we're running a generator, so I'm going to power this with a 12 volt pump for now. And again, that will change once we get all the solar equipment into this garage, and we'll have constant power to the unit. These are the things that came with the boiler. We've got a draft regulator, we've got a temperature pressure gauge, we've got a PRV, pressure relief valve, and we've got a tank drain valve, and then we've got this draft control box, I'm going to call it, which is actually going to mount right back here so that these holes go all the way through to the burn box, and that will control draft coming in from the back. The things that came with the boiler go into the holes on the boiler. This hole is for the temperature pressure gauge. This is actually for an Aqua-Stat, which I'm going to talk about later. This is for the draft controller, and this is for the PRV. And then the drain for the boiler, gravity being gravity, is on the bottom here. These 2 big holes are both inlets coming back into the boiler, and these 2 holes on the top are outlets going out of the boiler. The rough idea here is to use the holes you need and plug the ones you don't. So before I start installing anything in these holes, I am going to get the big stuff done here first so that all this business doesn't get in the way. So here's what I've got for mock-ups. This is going to go on the top as the out, and then our expansion tank will sit upside down on top of this. And this will come out the back and go into the pump. Actually, the water will flow this way, but coming out of the boiler, it'll go that way. And then these are the various plugs that we'll be using. So tape and dope on every connection. So I'm just going to leave this like that for now, just to keep crud out of there. And now I'm going to take care of these holes. Okay, we're going to start right here with the easy one. So this is for an Aqua-Stat, which does not come with this boiler. And what an Aqua-Stat does is, basically, as I understand it, in the event of your thermostat going bad, it will tell your pump to kick on when the water hits a certain temp so that you don't overfire the boiler, basically. We're not going to have a thermostat. We're not going to even have power to that pump all the time. So it would not make any sense to even put one in right now. It would just cause complications. It's a 3/4 inch plug, galvanized. All of this is galvanized steel too, by the way, all the fittings. Do not tighten by hand. It's good advice. We're just gonna get it started. Best way to take off these clamps . All right, there we have it. So, take you on a tour here as if you were a drop of water. Out the boiler, through the tube, down the tube, we're on the bottom one. Air bleed valve, in case we need to get some air out of the system. This through here, comes back up, up through here, air bleed valve in case we need one. Downhill angle from here to the pump. Pump is always pulling water back into the system as opposed to pushing water out of the system. Into the pump, up we go, into the inlet here. Goes into the bottom, heats up, comes back out. Recirculates, evaporates. We will need to add water to this occasionally. But there we go. Tomorrow is going to be the big day. I want to get this going first thing in the morning in case we have any issues or whatever.
Hi, Sadie.
The first jug, we're going to have about 55 gallons total in the system. These are 4-gallon jugs. And this is the first one. So we'll see how my arms feel after this. Ah, the sweet sound of heat. Yeah, here we are. I don't know what jug number this is. We're still going. So I wanted to mention, so this is a 40-gallon boiler, and in 1/2-inch hydronic tubing, which is what we have in the floor, there is 1 gallon per 100 feet, I'm told. So in a 300-foot loop, which is what all of our loops are, there are 3 gallons. Times 5 loops is 15 more gallons, so that brings our total to 55 gallons. So we should get to that, and that should be, well, we should get to 40, and then we should be topped off here, and then we should have to add 15 more as we start the pump and pack the lines. So we'll see how the math works out. Okay, we are at 40 gallons. I don't know if you can see the water in there. Oh yeah, it just burbled. So we're gonna throw this cap on and then fill the rest from there.
Turn the pump on, lots of air bubbles come out, and when we turn it off, the water level goes down quite a bit.
Alright, we're at a point where the bubbles have pretty much stopped. We've only had the first loop open on our manifolds over here, so just the one on the right there has been open. Send, return. So now that the bubbling has stopped, we're going to crack open the next loop, and we should hear more bubbling almost immediately. I love it when a plan comes together. We have our first fire. Oh, that feels good. Oh yeah. Yeah, and most importantly, that fire is where it's supposed to be, and the smoke is going where it's supposed to be too. We're on our last loop. We got air coming out of that last line. And we're dropping pretty good. So we've got 5 gallons of glycol in here and a 55 total gallon system. This is kind of my setup here to, if you can see the air bubbles coming through here or not. But that's on the return line going into the pump, so that means that water is, or the air is coming out of the lines under the floor, which is what we want. Okay, it's been about a week and a half since we finished the install on our DS boiler, and we absolutely love it. Everything is going according to plan as far as the install goes, so that's always nice. We're able to really control the draft and the flame and the heat coming out of it. This boiler is very, very efficient at pulling heat out of the water that is inside of this and putting it into the floor where it belongs. This fan rarely ever spins, which generally that thing is rocking on any kind of wood stove. So I just had one little fire in it this morning. It's been cooler, but it's going to be warming up over the next few days. So I'm finding that we need to build 1 to 2 fires a day, really, and run that pump for about 12 to 16 hours a day, which is about the same amount of time that we can comfortably get out of that battery. We could probably get, I don't know, a day and a half or so out of that 100 amp hour battery, but I don't give it more than 16 hours or so because I don't need that pump to die. That would not be good, because then this effectively becomes a tea kettle with the fire going. So here's the expansion tank. The bubbles have ceased. We found this pretty sweet lid that fits nice on there that controls evaporation. We've maybe lost 2 quarts of liquid so far in a week and a half, so it's actually less than I thought it would be. And that being the highest part in the system, as expected, all of the air burps out of that. My plumber buddy recommended that we install these as air bleed valves, but these actually, when you crack them, turn into vacuums basically, and they suck air into the system since they're below that. I think that's how it works. But either way, we don't really need these, it turns out. So I'm glad they were there. It gave us some peace of mind. But as long as your open expansion tank is at the highest point in your system, everything is fine. All the air just works itself out. You can stop the pump, restart the pump, no problem, and it just burps out like it should. Like gravity actually does work. So that's a wonderful thing. So thank you for watching this video. We really appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe and like button on the way out. These videos take a ton of work, and we like doing them. We like keeping in touch, and we just really appreciate the support on the channel. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.